Hey, what's up world? Psych Life here. And today, don't mind if you're looking through Instagram Live. Don't mind that there's maybe like some sort of camera in front of you. We're just messing around with the messing around with the equipment and make sure it works. But today I just wanted to tell everybody Happy New Year, Happy 2020. I actually just wanted to start off the new year by doing things right and letting you guys know some of the new things we're doing with Psych Life and why I mentioned the other day about the two important questions to ponder for the new year, which is who you are and how do you want to live your life. And I'm going to talk a little bit in this segment right here as to why those two questions are important and why we should ponder them and take them into the new decade with us. But before I get started, I just wanted to mention a couple things. For one, thank you all for always supporting this channel and always supporting what we do on Instagram as well as Facebook. I really appreciate you guys after all this time, because I think it was in 2017 when we started Instagram and it took off and I wasn't expecting any of that. But then in 2018 we started doing educational videos. I know some of you guys found those to be beneficial for you guys because it allowed you to explore the mind and use actual theories to explore yourself. But I wanted to take things a little differently this time around. I actually wanted to start doing things and talking about interventions or activities that can actually help you reflect on yourself instead of just learning about theories. And that's where this channel is going to take a little bit of a change now, and as well as this Instagram page. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that as much as I am. So let's start off by talking about what I really wanted to talk about today, which was who are you and how do you want to live your life. So typically you'll see me with a piece of paper with notes and everything, but this time around I decided to just do it straight out of my head because I thought it would be more authentic. And why is the question who are you so important? Because every day you wake up and you live your life and you go through the routine of life and you make decisions, and they're sporadic decisions. Sometimes the decisions don't even coordinate with one another. And it's not until you figure out who you are, that's the most fundamental question. That's step number one to me. Who you are, that you can actually start developing a routine and a discipline for yourself that can matter to you. And when you wake up, you look forward to waking up and you're proud of what you're doing and the schedule that you've set for yourself. So it's very easy for me to say, and sometimes I say to take a break and just evaluate your life, and you should just be happy for who you are and what you get accomplished, because at the end of the day time is limited, which is true. But if you want to take it a step further, then you need to actually do the inner workings for you to figure out who you are. And so with that being said, who you are doesn't depend on the external materialistic objects you have. It doesn't depend on what car you drive. It doesn't depend on how much money you have in your bank account. It doesn't depend on where you live, what house you live, how much you travel, etc., etc. Because those are external factors. And if you try to find out who you are through external factors, things outside this physical body, then you're really not going to come up with a good conclusion, and it's going to be a faulty conclusion. And if you're living, and if who you think you are is not spot on, then the rest of your life and the days that you're going to live are not going to be so happy. You'll convince yourself that you're happy. That's the way the mind works, the frontal lobe. You'll convince yourself that you're happy, but you're not. And if you're confused as to who you are, then that's not necessarily a recipe for success. So how do you figure out who you are? First off, I already mentioned, don't identify with external objects. Don't look for the answer through the external world, the physical world, okay? The physical world is real, but the answers you seek are inside yourself, and that's so much more important. The way I found out who I was, and I'm not going to mention it here because it's 4 words, okay? I didn't think it would be useful to mention it here because I don't want everybody to start stemming off the answers of who I am and the answers I have. but if I find it useful to tell you guys, I will. Okay, so the way I found out who I was by breaking down my defenses, not looking at the external variables, not looking at my past and my history of what I've done and the relationships I had. No, it was who I was inside and what are the qualities I have that I can share with the world. So I almost had to do a positive asset search for myself. The only thing is a positive asset search, meaning you start looking at the qualities you have that are positive and that you can, are your strengths almost. You start looking at those qualities and you see which ones you can share with the world. And that is a positive asset search. That's a real one. It's actually a therapeutic technique that I use a lot with my clients. So with the positive asset search, when I did mine, I'll just tell you, I guess, I was able to write down that I was courageous, I was powerful, I was loving towards the people I care about, and I'm a leader. So once I figured out who I was, by separating the external variables, dropping down my defenses, meaning the walls I built up in my life, the false conclusions I have, right? So some of the false conclusions I had was I was identifying really hard with the word man and all the implications that went with it. So you can say, when I ask you, who are you? You can say, I'm a man. And that word can take on a million meanings. It could mean aggressiveness. It can be built, physical stature. It can also mean the way you go about things is very head on. But that's not who you are. That's just something you're identifying yourself with. Who you are qualities within yourself that you get to express to the world freely. It's not until you figure out those qualities that you can figure out who you really are. And once you figure out who you are, then comes the second question, which is, how do you want to live your life? There's so many ways to go about this question. You know, how do you want to live your life doesn't necessarily mean what school you're going to go to for college or where you're going to move in next year. What city you're going to move in, what part of town you're going to live in. That's not what I mean by how you want to live your life. What I mean by how do you want to go about living your life? What I mean by that is, when you wake up in the morning, what is it that you want to do that would make you happy? And I know that I'm going to get a lot of smart remarks out there, or people that are watching the video that think, oh, what I want to do, what makes me happy every day is do nothing. And I can almost guarantee you that by you saying what I want to do every day is do nothing, for all you smart Alex out there, is that eventually that might work for a day or two, maybe even a week or two, but eventually you won't find fulfillment in doing nothing. All of us have something that we need to do. And even back in time, if we were to jump in a time machine and go back 2,500, even 3,000 years ago, you would see that even the hunters and gatherers had something to do. They were always on the move. They were always waiting to do something. And even when they made small groups, every person in the group had a job title that they did, and they tried filling it up to the fullest for the purpose of the group to survive. So when I say how do you want to live your life, yes, there are going to be times where there's going to be downtime, but what are you going to do every morning when you wake up that's going to make your life be able to be a life where you're fulfilled and that you feel good about it? And so if you want to help people, maybe if you got up every morning and you said, you know what I want to do today is help people, then maybe the way you want to live your life is by choosing a profession or choosing something during that period of time that allows you to help other people. I did that, okay? I did that. I did that by choosing to be a therapist, by choosing to make Psych Life, by choosing to go to school to learn about human beings so I can be more equipped to help people when that time comes. So I made that decision on how I want to live my life. And if I wake up in the morning and I'm not fulfilled, then I need to start checking myself and really see what is it now that I want to do to help to actually make my life meaningful. So I also want to mention something else. I wouldn't criminalize people that when I ask this question, how do you want to live your life? And they say, I want to live my life by making as much money as I can. That's their choice. I can question how much fulfillment that will come from it, from psychological studies that I've read. I can question that, but that's their choice on how they want to live their life. And this second question is something that we must ponder for this new decade, because if you don't answer this question, then life will choose it for you on how you're going to live your life. Whatever it puts in front of you, you're going to be okay with it. Whatever it gives you in the moment, you're going to be okay with it. And you have to make a decision if that's the type of life you want to live. You have to choose the way you want to live your life, or else someone else will choose it for you, or life itself will choose it for you. So I just wanted to do this small video and take the time to let you guys know and remind you guys that this is a new year, this is a new decade, and it's an opportunity for you guys to reflect on the two questions I mentioned. Who are you? Not the one that your mind forms and all these walls it forms and tells you who you are. Really drop those walls and drop those ideas and external variables that you have about yourself and figure out who you are. What are the qualities you want to share with the world? And the second question is, how do you want to live your life? In variance to how, who are you? In association, excuse me, to who are you? How do you want to live your life? When you wake up in the morning, what would give you fulfillment? What would give you the motivation to keep going and do what you want to do to the fullest? And those are questions that I want you to ponder. And maybe if you guys got a journal and actually just pondered on those subjects every day a little bit, and wake up and just think about it, then you guys would have answers to those questions. All right, so that's all I got for you for today, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. And most of all, just know that Psych Life will still be an informative platform, but it's also going to be a platform where we talk about how we can better ourselves instead of just providing information. If you want cool mental health information, check out our podcast with Dr. Bridge that we've created. It's a 10 episode series, and we're going to start series number 2 soon. All right, take care guys. Psych Life.